I do want to say this. This is important. I've been in this space for 35 years. And I have came from the title land. I understand that scape well. Been in real estate most of my life on that side. I got that. Lending has always been a little challenging because I believe the realtor is the tip of the spear. I believe we don't get enough credit for our influence most times. And the consumer, over the course of a transaction, tends to want to trust us as the real estate tip of the spear, okay? And I have worked a long time and yet to find a mortgage relationship that allows the realtor to use his influence or her influence and then earn off of that opportunity. And like everything you ever get from us at Rise, none of our ideas are original. Zero. On purpose. I hate original theory because most of it is horseshit. True or true? Find what's already working. Find the person doing it. Understand it. Deliver it. This partnership came about because two of our largest realtor partners, Grant and Stephen, have been working with this group, Clear Mortgage, who's one of our partners here today, and they did a deal that they could actually be paid for their growth, paid for their influence, and not hurt the loan officer, which is generally how it worked previously. How many of us have done MSAs? Many of us have done MSAs, and all of a sudden, they don't get as many deals, so then the person will quit doing MSAs. Who gets quit doing MSAs? Yeah, that happens everywhere, right? Because there wasn't a like-minded partnership. So Grant and Stephen, what you helped me with was, here's a way for us to not only have our paid influence, but have the best $100 million loan officers in America working with us in the process and making more money on the loan officer side. So these folks are going to go through a series of Q&A with me. Please introduce yourselves, then we'll get into Q&A. Grant, start with you.
I'm Grant Johnson. I'm a team leader out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been in the business for over 25 years.
Nick Street. I'm from Sacramento, California. Been in mortgage for 19 years.
Sherry Riano from North Carolina. I've been doing this for about 24 years.
Sherry started when she was 11, everybody, just so you're clear, at an early start. And we already
Did they
know
already
who you
forget
are.
my name? I've
Yeah,
only been up
good.
here 3 times today.
Yeah, it's good. Still, we love you. All right, so start with Stephen and Grant. You've done the MSA thing, you've done the JV thing, none of it worked. Why did this work? Well, start with you, Grant, and then we'll go to you, Steve.
I did do both. I did the MSA and I did the JV, and the MSA, they came to me and canceled it because it wasn't working for both parties. You know, the loan officer thinks they're going to get every capture out of the office, and they're not, and we thought we would get more out of it. This works because it's a true partnership between us and the lender. And we are basically getting paid to help run a mortgage branch within our office, and it's just a 100% partnership.
Right, and if I understand it correctly, you're paid for your influence and your ability to find talent, and that talent doesn't have to take a pay cut to come over as a loan officer, doesn't have to get paid less, gets total transparency, which that's my favorite part of this whole thing. So you never have to guess. There's no, oh, I should have got this many, you should have paid. It's none of that goes on, correct?
Not an ounce. We actually, there's a back end where the loan officer can actually see every ounce of money. There's 100% transparency. We are paid to help grow the mortgage company. We now have 4 loan officers within our branch. We started with 1. We're up to 4, and that's how we are actually getting paid. But the transparency is 100%.
Stephen, how did it work with you? Why did this work for you? What was this? Give me the walkthrough.
I mean, I've had a couple different MSAs. I've had what is it called? I both said VA, joint venture. It's been a morning. I didn't tell you my story about this morning already. It was a morning. So the MSA, what I learned quickly about that model is, hey guys, it's all about the advertising and it's all about the exposure. And then all of a sudden they're not doing the transactions they want to do and they come and try to cut it. And you're like, but I thought it was about advertising. We haven't changed anything yet. And I actually duked it out one time with one of them because I'm like, you gave me your worst loan officers. You stuck them in here. We did everyone we didn't do. Now you want to cut my MSA. And I said, you're fired. We just acquired a company this summer that had an MSA with a company. They were getting $9,000 a month. They walk in right before the acquisition and say, we're going from $9,000 to $1,500. And then that discussion went from $1,500 to 0. It's a lot of money just out of your bottom line each month. JV, no control, large P&L with a lot of expenses. I was making a little bit of money, but the lack of transparency, the lack of control, it just wasn't working for me. I'm used to having control.
You
Or
are
at
a
least-
control
Or
freak.
at least
it
a
sounds
seat, or I like my management team and stuff, a seat at a round table, right? I felt like I was sitting somewhere in the middle and they had people on both ends and I was being squeezed.
Love it. So now, Sherry and Nick, this is interesting, right? Because usually what this happens is, oh, you're going to go in a controlled environment, you're going to take 50 less bips, you're going to make less money, but you're going to have the safety and security of da-da-da. Never has it been where it's a partnership and everybody sees it and everybody's paid for whatever influence they can provide. So Sherry, why did this appeal to you? Why did you do this?
Because of the transparency, because we could see, you know, exactly what was going on. And I didn't have to give up my relationships to build a relationship with Stephen. I was able to continue all my other relationships that I had built. And for me, that was very appealing.
Nick?
Likewise, I think the biggest thing that I saw was opportunity. Like, I've never seen a platform that says, hey, here's every dollar that was earned on this transaction. So there's no legacy deals with old middle managers. Those are all gone, right? You're really seeing every dollar that's earned, every dollar that's spent, and you actually get a say in how that's done. The other part is, you know, a lot of loan officers think being in a relationship is like a kiss of death, right? So, oh, I'm now in Grant's office, so no other agents are going to want to use me. Well, this model is the exact opposite of that. Grant encourages his loan officers to get business outside of his office. He's not saying, hey, I'm going to put handcuffs on you. He's saying, please help me, let me introduce you to as many agents as possible so that you can expand your business greater and greater.
Sherry and Nick, staying with you, you guys have grown 700% year over year?
They say that the light shines brightest in the darkness, right? So if you have something that's positive right now in this type of space, in the mortgage space, we really hear a lot of doom and gloom all day long. So we really do have something that is unique and that is attractive. And so to your point, yeah, a lot of our growth is through, you know, the good people that we continue to bring in.
Well, when I talked to Bill, and I enjoyed this, total transparency, I thought, well, aren't most mortgage companies transparent? And you guys coach me, not the case at all.
No, not the case
Right?
at all.
And you get to see the whole thing. And as people who were doing $100 million, happy where you were, not jumpers of trying to find the next deal, when you got there, the sizzle and the state matched. You
Yes.
surprised a little?
I was a little surprised. I was glad it did, but I was a little surprised that it did match. I mean, a lot of times, you know, we've been offered positions, they'll promise us the world, you know, and you get there and you go, well, this isn't the world we talked about at all. And that's just not the case at all where we are. It is truly light in the dark world.
And I think you're going to see more and more of this, you guys. Rise is an example of this agnosticity, right? We don't care about the logo on the front of the jersey. It's about the name on the back. I love that we can have RE/MAX, Keller Williams, EXP, Real, all up here sharing with everybody and not thinking about it. Because you're right. If they were asked to only use people in that office, you'd be making a fourth of what you're making.
I'm going to cut the chase right here. And a lot of us understand this in this room. If you're on the real estate side, you're a realtor, team lead, you're a broker owner, our commissions are being compressed. You don't get the same amount of money from your agents as you did 10, 15, 20 years ago. We have cap plans. Now we got to deal with the industry and getting.
You're going to have buyer
buyers.
commission compression.
We've got all kinds of things. I'm literally expanding at rapid pace my brokerages just so I can have more mortgage markets. There's that much money in this, and it's much bigger than I thought. In fact, I'm not kidding when I say in 2 years I will have a $2.5 billion mortgage business. I thought it was going to be $2 billion, but then I was told it was going to be $500 million more on another line the other day, and I had to do it in 18 months. But I said we're going to do it in 16 and a half months.
Yep.
because we're visualizing. But the fact of it is, when you see this model and the transparency of this model and what it opens up for the loan officer and the brokerage, it took me a while to get my head around it. Grant introduced me to it. I didn't believe it until they pulled back the curtain and showed you the amount of money you can make in this model. And I literally just acquired a company just the other week, and I said, I don't care if we're making any money from the brokerage. We're opening up mortgage. I don't want to lose money on the brokerage.
You still need production.
I still need production, but it's a different mindset now going into it, because as I see our ancillary business lines coming with whether it's title and mortgage or insurance or any of these different ancillary business, solar. I got to get in on that game.
I mean,
how big it was.
I'm telling you guys, you heard Steve Hawks mention this morning, integrated verticality in the businesses that you have. If you're going to be the tip of the spear, it's going to be your knowledge and advice. Ask yourself, am I being rewarded for my influence? Because that's going to be important. If there was one thing, and you're sitting in the audience, Grant, and there's one thing you're like, what would you want people to know that was like, okay, I'm going to see, is this good for my loan officer? Okay, it is. What would be one thing you'd want to impart with them? We're going to go right down the line.
What you just said, it is good for the loan officer. It's good for the real estate team. I'm noticing the agents on the team are wanting a bigger piece of the pie every time, right? So like what happened to real estate brokerage is the commission's being compressed. It's doing the same thing to teams. It's a way for a team to actually expand, keep their profitability, keep the loan officers profitable, but it's a way to build a whole nother business. So we're building an actual separate mortgage business, not just a real estate team.
Love that. Nick, one thing you want someone to know if you're sitting there as an LO?
I heard, from somebody earlier say, everybody should go get their mortgage license. It's going to be super easy. And then I heard, you have 180 things you need to do on a transaction as a real estate agent. Do you want to add mortgage to that? I don't know if you do, right? So in our model, you get to enjoy the success of a mortgage partnership, but you don't have to get your license. You don't have to invest any money in. All you have to do is what you're already doing, right? Which is influencing, recommending, buyers to your loan officer.
Sherry?
For me, it's just really one word, it's legacy. It's what we're building, a legacy.
You like being an entrepreneur. You believe this is, because I asked Bill this just at the end of the round. We said, do you think every lender is going to have to follow being transparent now that it's out there that there is this much money in every deal and you don't have to try to carve it up and hide it? Do you think in 12 months, 24 months, this is going to have to be the norm or they won't be able to compete?
Absolutely, I do.
Got it. Stephen, one thing before we close up and let these folks go to lunch.
I would say the best thing that ever happened in my business life is the call I got from Grant. This organization is changing my life, my family's life. It's creating generational wealth. I will never have to worry about my daughter's daughters, sons, their kids. It is that real. It is that transparent. It is that powerful. And that was the best phone call of my life.
By the way, met through Rise, everybody. Rise.
Through Rise.
Connect. There we go, baby. Thank you. Well said. All right. I am going to, a couple things. There's a QR code if you'd like to learn more. This is an executive overview that will be given. I advise you, if nothing else, to get informed, because my instinct is, and I'm pretty good at looking over the mountaintop and seeing what's on the other side and trying to be ready for it. I think this becomes a very big focus in the next 26 to 30 months. So if it helps somebody you're already in business with, somebody you use, and you can get paid for your influence, I would tell you this is going to become more and more. Now, like everything, it's not an unlimited amount. There's not an unlimited amount of $100 million LOs. There's a certain amount. So not everybody can be influential. Those of you in this room can be. There's a huge advantage in real estate by being first to market. Huge. Our goal at Rise is always to be on the leading edge of first, because we get that run up. That's like this buyers negotiate their commission. We're in front of this. We've been talking about this now for 3 months because we know this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a thing. Get in front of it, hit your QR code. All right.